Howdy folks, Nathan Adlin here with the Fast Lane Truck, and we have a special episode for you. Toyota let us borrow, look at this. This is the 2015 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. It's a very special truck built for serious off-roading, and we only have a short amount of time to test it before we have to give it back. Now, what we've done is we've brought the benchmark, the yardstick, the Ford F-150 SVT Raptor, to measure this vehicle against. And coming up next, we're going to take this and this off-road. There is a reason why I'm holding this. This is my little cheat sheet that comes directly from Toyota, and that's because we only have this vehicle for a few days, so normally we memorize this stuff, but today, well, not so much. But I can tell you this is basically a stock Tundra with a 5.7 liter V8 that puts out 381 horsepower and 401 pound-feet of torque, which is pretty good. Better yet, it has the TRD exhaust package on there. Now, there are no numbers that they've given us to indicate that it helps power or torque, but I can tell you this, it sounds amazing, and it seems to help throttle response. It feels like it's friskier, but it could just be the cool sounding engine. Now, speaking of cool sounding engines, of course you guys know what this is over here, and it's a 6.2 liter V8 in this big bad Ford with 411 horsepower, 434 pound-feet of torque. So yes, it outperforms this one when it comes to overall power, but remember, this is a much smaller engine. And with smaller displacement, you can get a little bit more efficiency, which isn't too terribly hard compared to this Ford. And on top of that, it's very drivable. In other words, it doesn't feel like it's having any issues with traffic and whatnot. This thing feels like a stadium truck when you're in traffic, no matter what. First thing you got to know about driving the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro is that it's a Toyota Tundra. It doesn't feel like a completely alien vehicle. It's a truck, and it's the truck it's based on. So you don't feel like you're that much higher, you don't feel like you're wider. When you're inside the Raptor, it's almost like being inside of like a military vehicle mixed with a toy from Hasbro. With that being said, there are a few things that I noticed right off the bat. First of all, the Raptor and its Fox shocks are just so compliant. just spongy over this stuff. The TRD is definitely a little bit harsher, but the trade-off is street performance. With the TRD, this baby right here, the Tundra, is, well, very, very good and better than the Raptor. In fact, driving it in regular traffic is as easy as driving the regular Tundra in traffic. Once again, cheat sheet right here. These are TRD Bilstein shocks. Now, what they do in the back is they allow for basically an additional 1.25 inches of ground clearance and obviously more articulation. And the springs are a little bit heavier to allow for better off-road working, but more importantly, the front. Now, these, same thing, and they have reservoirs, but they allow for 2 inches of additional ground clearance and articulation. And the springs have been tuned in such a way to where they work better off-road than the regular truck or the regular TRD. So what you have here is a much more usable off-road system than the regular TRD or obviously the regular Tundra. A couple other things. This thing, despite being compared to the Raptor, is kick-ass. Really, really good ground clearance, just right. Not ridiculously high, good articulation. Overall ride off-road is excellent. I have a damn good idea of what I'm rolling over. And the bottom line is that, okay, there are a few trucks in the market that have all-wheel drive, a few trucks in the market that are series 4-wheel drive. And then there's just a couple that are hardcore kick-ass off-road vehicles. Obviously the Raptor's one, and this is the other. And add to that these Michelin tires. Now we're kind of surprised. They've been very grippy, and the sidewall has been very useful for rocks. So far so good. Would I choose this over the Raptor for a serious off-roader? No. The Raptor is much more adept at doing this type of stuff, and you can just punish it all day long. It really is rewarding. But I will say this vehicle I would definitely choose if I was a guy who had to go to work every day, hit the job site, get work done, and have to drive home and then go off-road and tow and haul, because it does better towing and hauling than the Raptor. All right, start typing now. Look, you know, I'm not trying to BS you folks. This is a great truck, but it needs help. I don't think it looks great. I think it looks okay. I think that it's one of those vehicles that at the end of the day will reward you. But man, if Toyota could just invest in a little bit more styling and maybe a slightly larger, more powerful engine, oh man, could you imagine what this thing could be? We have reviewed this vehicle, the Ford Raptor, several times, so you know about the exterior and all the differences and everything from the regular F-150. Now, when it comes to the Tundra TRD Pro, a lot of differences. Primarily this, what they call burnt orange paint, which actually I kind of like. It's growing on me. One of the things that's always been weird about the Tundra with me is that they've never balanced out the look in general. Well, with the TRD Pro package, you get a little bit more balance. Aside from the fact that you get these really groovy dual exhausts from TRD, which are awesome. But you have extra black trim, you have these wheels which are painted black. I wish they weren't. But they do look good, and well, they could look better if they weren't black. Then you're talking about the front end of the vehicle, which also has some black and some extra goodies on there to make it look different than the regular Tundra. The interior is where a majority of the differences is, because you have, well, according to this, seats, shifter, floor mats, and a unique IP that all have the TRD logo on there with a little Pro there in the corner. And then you have the audio package. Guys, can I tell you something about the audio package? Every single Toyota I've driven, other than maybe Scion products, they don't get loud enough. They literally don't, and I'm not that hard of hearing. It's just they don't get loud. In this truck, you want it to blast like hard heavy metal or something, and you're turning it up and it sounds like, well, Barry Manilow. At the end of the day, ask me, do I think that this thing can keep up with the Raptor? Actually, I think it can for about 90% of the terrain that you'd be going over. Now, desert, roads, high speed, river crossing, stuff like that. Yeah, you might have to slow down a little bit in this thing, but the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro, surprisingly capable. You know what I wish it had? Bigger wheels and tires. Slightly higher suspension, just slightly. Not the crazy stuff, just another 2 inches. Yeah, I know, another 2 inches. Overall usability might surprise you because the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro, well, just sit there. Listen to this. Maximum towing for this, 9,800 pounds. Maximum towing for the Raptor, 8,000 pounds. Maximum payload for the Raptor, 1,180 pounds. Maximum payload for this vehicle, 1,495 pounds. Now that is significantly different on both ends. So actually, in some ways, this is the more usable truck. Roman got a chance to take this bad boy off-road already, and he had an opportunity to go really fast with Ivan Stewart of all people. So yes, we already had that angle on it, but in terms of a practical vehicle, in terms of a vehicle you can drive every day and take off-road, frankly, this is difficult to beat. Look, I know, the Raptor is amazing, and in every way off-road, it is a better vehicle, but considering what they had to work with and considering the fact that Toyota really wanted a usable everyday truck, this TRD Pro is impressive. Thank you, Toyota, for letting us borrow it and play with it and damage it a little bit. Just kidding. For the Fast Lane Truck, this is Nathan Adlin. I will see you next time. Don't forget to go to tfltruck.com for news, views, and reviews. Adios. So altogether, they're pretty close trucks. Now, a few things here. For one thing, the stock Ford F-150 Raptor has an approach angle of 29.8 degrees, departure angle of 22.9 degrees, which is actually pretty good. Now, as far as we can tell, once again, numbers are not available yet, but we've been able to suss out that with this bad boy, approach angle is 26 degrees, departure 22 degrees. That's not bad either. Now, granted, we're talking about very different trucks because this baby over here is about 6 inches wider. That is extreme, especially when you think about parking and daily driving. Off-road, obviously, narrow paths will favor this truck, but this isn't narrow either. I mean, it's a full-size truck. So, the bottom line is that they're not as different as you might think in terms of overall dimensions, other than width.